What's the crack, Patreon fam? It's your boy, Long Dick Ducky, coming at you like a long dick should. Back at it for another Q&A video. And I tell you what, you didn't leave me short on questions this time. In fact, some of you asked way too many. Now, I'm not going to name names. It was Alicia. So I'm going to allow 3 questions per person because of those who took to asking questions like a YouTuber to pedophilia. Seriously, it's ridiculous how many YouTubers want to diddle kids. I'm genuinely expecting to be outed by the rest of the YouTube community for not doing my bit. Anyway, let's get into it, shall we? Brandon asks, have you ever made a customer cry from a confrontation with them, or even their little shit? No, my arguments with customers tend to get a bit more heated than they do emotional. They tend to storm out rather than cry, and I've always seen crying as a bit of a cheap move to win an argument anyway, so it wouldn't really sway me. Amanda asks, what is your worst customer story? I honestly don't have a worst, I've just too many to draw from. Been in retail for about 12 years, Jesus fucking Christ. So I've come across a lot of bastards. I'm going to make videos on this at some point about the worst customers I've dealt with over the years, as soon as I'm done making stupid customer videos, so I'll probably stop them at about part 10, then I'm going to start that series on more personal stories I've had with customers. Let me know what you guys think of that kind of idea. Adam asks, if you could cure the world of one negative thing, what would you choose to get rid of and why? PC culture. The world would be a very dull place if we didn't have comedy, and it feels like PC culture is doing its best to strip the world of any comedy in case somebody gets their feelings hurt. These days the world has been moulded to accommodate the softest of cunts, and it'll be our downfall. Adam also asks, would you rather be high or drunk? Drunk. I'm actually not overly fond of weed. Being high just makes me feel all fuzzy and stupid, and I like to have clarity in my thoughts. I know drink can do the same, but I rarely get so drunk that I can't think. I'm almost 30, so I've a fairly good handle on where my drunk sweet spot is these days. Jade asks, hey Ducky, what is your opinion on the Epic Game Store? I don't really have one. They've made a pretty successful game, so they're obviously doing something right, but I don't have it on my PC. If it's not Steam, I don't bother with it. I just hate pointless software on my system. I like to keep my mind filthy, but my PC clean. Danny asks, what alcoholic drink is your go-to or favourite? Desperados, Aftershock with Red Bull, Jaeger bombs, Orchard Thieves, and pretty much everything a typical woman drinks. I like drinks to taste nice, so fruity drinks and cocktails. Ashley asks, what is it like living in Ireland? I hear it's beautiful over there, but is it better visiting or living there? Like any country really, it has its pros and cons. Pretty good culture, quite a cool country if you're a fan of Game of Thrones. Just look at all these lovely castles. Crime isn't really that much of an issue here. In 2016 there was only 37 murders total in Ireland apparently. People are generally good, up for the crack, or the laugh if you don't know what that means. Comedians love doing shows here as a result. Healthcare is pretty good if not a bit backlogged. It's also free if you can't afford it, so definitely worth a visit if that sounds good to you. The bad is taxes are a cunt. It's a very expensive country to live in. Price of fuel, tobacco, alcohol, road tax is bonkers as a result. Public transport is shockingly bad, as well as the cost of a fucking train ticket. The roads are full of potholes. It's always raining, except in the summer where it's fierce mild, and we arguably have the sexiest accent on the ugliest of faces, so it's good and bad. Aya asks, when you have free time, what do you do for fun? Between work and videos as well as life obligations, I don't really get much free time if I'm honest, but if I do get free time, you usually find me watching a movie, playing with the dogs, playing video games, visiting family, boozing with mates, watching too many YouTube videos.
The fuck you say to me, you little shit?
Or giving the missus the old hucklebuck. Aya also asks, are you into any sports? No, the last sport I did was skateboarding when I was a teenager, but I do go to the gym 3 times a week, so I'm not a completely lazy piece of shit. Mr. Gently Benevolent asks, what's your cousin Donald up to these days? I'll tell you what he's up to. Rubbing my face in his wealth, that's what he's up to. The fucking Disney cunt. Blackbird with 8 asks, how do you cope with the idea that you will forever be surrounded by idiots until your inevitable demise? Quite well, you just gotta surround yourself with good mates who see the world in a similar light to you. Then you can collectively laugh at all the window lickers in good company. Michael asks 3 questions. How do you go about selecting the music for your segues in your videos? Just stuff you know, an internet search or something else? If you say your cock is bigger, are you counting length or that corkscrew bullshit? And 3, collab with Vox's Productions when? Okay, selecting music comes down to what fits the video. I like the 40s and 50s swing style music, it works well for the videos and keeps things nice and light. It's almost a trademark at this stage as well, so I tend to lean towards that. Sometimes I'll have a song in mind when I'm making a video, and sometimes I'll just spend a dumb amount of time looking for one that fits, so it depends. My cock size is width and length, but you mustn't forget the bend, that's also important. And yeah, I'd love to collab with Voxes. It's just a matter of coming up with the right topic for each of us. I don't want to just shoehorn somebody into a video, I want to play to a YouTuber's strengths when collaborating with them. But hopefully we'll collab sooner rather than later. Alexa asks, do you have a YouTuber you like to watch a lot? If so, who and why? Not really. I watch Philip DeFranco, that's about my only source of news. Other than that, I enjoy Picture Fit, iDubbbz when he can be bothered to upload, Linus Tech Tips the day I found out, Oversimplified, Bill Burr podcast, that kind of thing. Nothing really diehard, just whatever I'm in the mood for at any given in time. Laura asks, what attempts other than YouTube have you made to get out of retail? Have you ever applied for an office job? Would you want to do an office job? And are you at all worried about Article 13? Retail is a thorn on my side right now, but ultimately I despise any menial, unfulfilling shit job. I'd hate office work just as much as retail if I was doing that. So I don't think a different job would really help. It'd have to be something I'd enjoy. I've always wanted to work with movies or something creative. That's probably why I've been able to do YouTube for almost 3 years now and not get sick of it. And in an ideal world, I want a job where I'm my own boss. As far as Article 13 or 17 now, it's a load of bollocks, but it's passed now, so it's just a case and wait and see how it's implemented. Laura also asks, now that you have a channel, when a customer is an absolute twat to you, do you still get angry or are you giddy with anticipation about making a video about it? In a ways, I'm a man who very much lives in the moment when it comes to difficult customers, so I'm very much as annoyed as I should be when dealing with them. If it's a common thing, I'll simmer on it after the fact, right around the time you start coming up with clever things you should have said, and that type of customer will make it into a video, but most of the time, unfortunately, it's actually not a common customer. It's just a cunt being a cunt in too unique of a situation for anyone to really relate to. Are you by definition a millennial? Are you by definition a millennial or a Gen Xer? Do you believe the millennial stereotype is true? Millennial is a hard fucking word to say with an Irish accent, I tell you that. By definition, I'm a millennial. By definition, I'm a millennial. Fucking hell. By definition, I'm a millennial. Fuck. By definition, I'm a millennial. I was born in 1989. And honestly, I couldn't tell you. I'm not really well informed when it comes to stereotypes of millennials or Generation Xers. Alicia asks, embarrassing moments of your life, hair, clothes, phases, stories, and general friendships or breakups. I have loads. I make fuck-ups just as often as the next person. Once went through a heavy metal phase in my teenage years where I dyed a pink mohawk onto my head. It was supposed to be red, but I couldn't find a proper red dye, so it ended up pink. One of my first days in a job, a co-worker randomly decided to show me a picture of a girl on his phone and seemed to want to get my opinion of her. Given as there was no context, I just assumed, like most men, he was just perusing Tinder or something, so I replied with a too fat for my tastes, which was not the best thing to say because it turned out to actually be his girlfriend and he just felt obliged to show me a picture of her for some reason. And once when I was out in the piss, I was chatting with a guy I went to school with years ago and a very attractive young lady who had caught my eye, and when she walked to the bar to get a drink, I turned to the guy and said, look at the arse on that. To which he replied, lad, that's my sister. So yeah, take your pick and thanks for making me relive them moments. Alicia also asks, do you believe in a political spectrum? If so, where are you? Where would you place yourself? And take the 16 personality test Myers-Briggs, I'm going to guess ISTP. I don't like the political spectrum. If you pick one thing on one side, everybody starts expecting you to agree with everything on that side. I just go with whatever makes the most sense to me, regardless of what side it's on. Some things I lean left on, other things I lean right on. But you'd rarely find me that far from the middle. And according to that test, I'm an INTJ-T. It's architect, so make of that what you will. And finally, she asks, if you could change 5 things about yourself at all, what would you change and why? Smaller dick to start. Yeah, it's great being the biggest man in the room, but it's not worth all that back pain. And no, seriously, I wouldn't really change much of note. I actually like who I am. I'm reasonably smart, reasonably attractive, self-motivated, ambitious, generous, and I like to think I have a good moral compass, even if I do wish death on a lot of people. Yes, there'll be times I develop a trait or a bad habit, but I'm self-aware enough to look at myself critically and address those things going forward. Sometimes you'll wake up and you think you've gotten fat or become a bit selfish, but that's part of life. Trying to be the person you think you should be. Changing things about yourself is expected. It's not an exception. So that is all I have time for today, lads. There's a lot of questions I didn't answer, so I might actually just, I don't know, do a gameplay video, something I don't actually have to animate, and just answer those questions in that. We'll see. What would you guys think of that? Thanks for supporting the channel, guys, and I will catch you, lads and ladies, in the next one.